Hi, I'm Candace, and welcome to Fitness and Harmony's Pilates and Yoga Fusion for connection to the self. Why are we doing this? Why are we here? So let's just start out breathing and see how that goes. And I want to add what's from yoga, Kapalabhati Pranayama. Inhale and circle up. Exhale and lean over. Inhale, expand the ribs. Exhale, squeeze the belly. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, expand the ribs. Exhale, squeeze the belly. So cinch the waist in more and more and more. Inhale, expand the ribs. Exhale and squeeze the belly. Now just bring the hands to the knees or the thighs. Roll the shoulders up, back and down. So get this loop going so that when you pull the shoulders back and down, it feels more natural to hold the chest open. Put your hands on the sides of the ribs here so that when you inhale, the arms or the hands go out. And then when you exhale, pull the belly inward and upward, and you should feel the ribs sort of coming back and in together. So do that a few times. Feel the breath. Focus your mind on the movement in the body and make that movement of the breath more smooth. Start your exhale from about the lower part of the navel and then feel the energy or the contraction of the muscle moving up and under the rib cage. 1 more time. Now we'll put the hands down because I want those shoulders to stay looped back and down the whole time. But now when you inhale, exhale halfway and then hold. Now just pull the belly in like you're kind of laughing or coughing. 3 times. So inhale, expand out. Exhale out a little bit, hold the ribs there, then pull the belly in 3 times. Inhale out. Exhale a little bit, hold. Inhale out, ribs expand. Exhale a little, hold. Now pull the belly in 3 times. Pull, pull, pull. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep working on that. Even if you're not getting the part about what the ribs are doing or how you're inhaling, exhaling, squeeze the abs, squeeze the abs, squeeze the abs. So if you're looking at yourself, let's say on camera and you have good lighting, or you're seeing yourself in the mirror, you should be able to see your shirt move and your belly go in. Now, believe it or not, this not only gets a lot of energy kind of percolating and moving around and circulating and oxygenating the brain, that's the whole purpose, but it actually works the abdominals with the respiratory muscles. Keep going. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Notice that when you're doing this, do your shoulder and neck muscles begin to sort of tense up and in. So we're leaving the chest and the ribs wide open, kind of, and then pushing the diaphragm muscle in and up, in and up, in and up. Almost like you're getting the bottom of something and pulling it inward, upward. 2 more times like that. Keep guiding your attention in, in. So what is happening deep within? The diaphragm muscle. Good, then come all the way down to the back. So kind of kick your stuff out of the way. Come all the way down. Put the hands on the belly. Do this again. Exhale, blow out, blow out, blow out. Now it's actually a little bit harder here to get movement in the belly because your belly is already down because of gravity. So it's a little bit harder to make that connection. So that's the reason we're working on this. Change your attention or your focus to the squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale. Exhale a little. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale. Exhale a little. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale. Exhale a little. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep going, but this time levitate the knees. So the knees are stacked over the hips. The shins are parallel. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Okay, so a lot of you have done yoga and Pilates for some time, and you're already going, is this Kapalabhati Pranayama that we know from yoga, or is this the 100 from Pilates? Good question. That means you're really paying attention. Yes, yes, it's where Joseph Pilates got the idea that if we stir the energy up in the belly, it draws our attention there, our focal point, and it gets plenty of energy circulating around the bloodstream. At the same time, though, in the 100, we're stabilizing the pelvis because these legs are up, so that's different. Now put the arms down on the floor and focus more. So now just do more of a smooth breath in and out, but focus more now on stabilizing the pelvis. So train your vision on the pelvic bowl and make sure that the hip bones, that's kind of the upper part of the leg, and the lower part of the ribs here, that they stay in relation to each other, stable and level. Extend one leg out as you draw one leg in, and then when you exhale, switch position. Inhale, exhale, switch. So you're going to keep pulling the belly into the spine. We're going to keep doing that, but this time just like a regular flowing breath. What about those shoulders? Loop them back and down. The same thing we did when we were standing, same exact thing. Keep gently guiding your attention in more, in more. Why are we doing this? What is the focal point? What is the purpose of this? Don't get caught up in all the little pieces and the parts, all the little seasonings that I put throughout my practice. Focus more on what you're getting out of this. So you have to go inside. You have to be your guru, and you have to find the work as it makes it meaningful to you. 2 more times. Exhale. Exhale, bring the feet down. If you have handbells, hand weights, or dumbbells, otherwise known as handbells, let's start here. The arms are down and out, kind of 45 degrees. So not all the way out like a letter T and all the way down by your sides. From there, bicep curl, but then bicep curl and lift, scoop in and up. So down and out, bicep curl, scoop in and up. Down and out. You got it. You figured this out. Now, squeeze the abdominals and hold the abdominals stable. Muscular tensions have to balance each other. So there's no really correct and right way from the outside to tell whether you're creating the right amount of muscular tension. The way we can tell for ourselves is if the joint is moving smoothly. So a good example is when you're steering a car. Most of us know how to steer, the steering wheel of a car. If one of your hands is pulling really hard, right, and the other one isn't, then there's an imbalance, and a pretty dangerous imbalance that we can see right away. So your body is the same way. All the muscles have to work together steadily the whole time. Even one little imbalance can create a big crash. 2 more times like this. Remember, your abdominals are pulling in the whole time, because if you're not holding on to that steering wheel, it's a big crash. Now take the weights up, bring the weight bells together, lift the knees, stack the hips, loop the shoulders onto the back. Now as the legs go out, the arms go overhead, and then you drag the two together. Picture some really big resistance ball between your elbows and your thighs. So as you exhale, you drag them both together, squeezing the core muscles into the spine. All right, the first thing I told you to do when we started this was to focus on the hips. Remember I said how the hips, so we're not really curling the hips off the floor. The head of the leg bone is staying level. You're doing good. In fact, you're doing really good at life. So keep going and squeezing the abdominals, even if you don't do the arm and the leg business. 3, 2, squeeze a little bit harder now. All right, your choice. You can keep holding on to these weights, or you can put the weights down. I have very light weights, so I'm going to keep them. The arms are stacked over the shoulders. As one leg extends out, the opposite arm goes up overhead. And then those two things come back to the neutral position. As the other leg extends out, the other arm goes overhead. And then those two things come back to neutral position. So I guess this is sort of like a hands and knees pose. We're just oriented differently. Now in the real world, gravity and external forces are really dictating how our muscles are always reacting and contracting and having to apply forces so that we don't fall down, right? Gravity would have you falling down and falling off your chair all day long if you weren't countering those forces. So focus on, again, on the abdominals and how they're wrapping around like a steel belt around your waist, and squeeze. Keep those shoulders looped back, especially if you have weights in your hands. Squeeze as you exhale. Squeeze as you exhale. 2 more times like this. Good. Good. We're going to put the weights down. Hug the knees into the chest. Happy baby. Kick the feet up. If you can reach your feet, grab them. So you can take your arms, to the inside, the outside, or a combination. The arms on the inside, then the hands go to the outside. Widen your knees and pull the knees down towards you. This is a really good stretch for the sacrolumbar, that low back. Deepen and widen your breath. Make space. Make space for the light to get in. Where are you looking? What is the point? You can't do anything if you don't have the right amount of light, right? You don't do anything, hopefully, in the dark. Try not walking around too much. As I get older, I find I need more and more night lights. But there's so many electronics around us these days that there's like command central everywhere you go. Everything's being plugged in and recharged. All right, from here, rock all the way up. You can roll to your side and push off. Let's come to a seated pose again. Let's do that again. Let's just take the arms out, elbows in. All we're going to do is stretch the arms out and pull the elbows in. So we'll do that a few times. Now levitate the crown of your head. So gently guide the light in your head to go up higher and higher. So the sides of your neck and your spine have to extend and lengthen upward, like a telescope reaching up and up. If anything, the back of your head's rising a little bit higher than the front, just to keep the vertebrae on the back of the neck open. Now leave the arms out. Now twist the arms forward and back. Twist and twist. There's precious little space in that shoulder there. So I want to make sure that those muscles and tendons are equally balanced, because those are their aiming muscles. What do we do with our arms all day? We're aiming. We're going to reach and pick something up. We're turning something. We're controlling the world with these fingers. So those muscles are always contracting, getting ready for you to aim the next time that you move something. Now leave the arms spun back and then pull the arms back and behind you and then release. Let's let the arms fall to the knees and then gently rock the head side to side. But at the same time, keep lifting the elevator of the spine upward. So even though your head is doing this little side to side, don't let your whole body, not right now, don't let your whole body rock. Now begin deeper and deeper breathing, but keep the abdominals pulled in so that it's like if you held the bottom of a balloon, the air would be forced into the part that wasn't being held. Bring the head back to center, and we'll come around to hands and knees. Now in our practice today, and many times in our practice, we spend a lot of time hands and knees, and we will today. First things first, if your wrists need a little extra, something, you may want to be on the knuckles. That's one way to get at this. Another way is to come to your forearms or just lean further back. The next thing to think about is the neck. And so if your neck is always either hanging or always craning to look up or look around, that's going to get really tiring on your neck. So give yourself a break by pushing back. Let's practice it. Push back into child's pose. Stretch through the arms. Drop the head to the floor. However you can get your head to the floor. If that means getting a blanket or a block so that your head can rest, do that. Don't let your head kind of dangle the whole practice. 2 slow breaths that fill the back of the lungs now. And come up to hands and knees. Let's extend one leg back. Now take a second to level both hips. Then, without moving your hips, bring the knee in towards you and straighten the leg out. All right, right now, I want to come to you, come right through my camera, and put a glass, a glass filled with water on your back so that you can't move. Well, you could move, but who would want to clean that up? So now think more and more about stabilization with the 2 hips, the 2 shoulder blades, and a long lengthening spine. Then the leg. Don't care about the leg right now. So the more the muscles are balancing forces, the pulling force of pulling, in, and the extending force and all of that, the more stable your body is. So when you go to pick up that heavy box, and I know you do, and you're not really thinking about, am I doing this correctly? Then your abs already are trained to hold your spine so that even if you mess up, if you do the wrong thing, leave the knee bent, but now take the leg out and down. All right, same thing. I don't care if you can lift this leg out to the side. What I care about is that you're not leaning over. So no tipping to twist. So stabilize and squeeze the abdominals. Have a clear vision. What do you want? You want your abs to be strong. You want your abs to look good. But mostly you want your abs to function, to protect the internal organs, to protect the spine, and to allow you to breathe. 3 more times. So this would be a good time to notice the wrists and the shoulders. Let's stretch back to child's pose and notice the wrists and the shoulders. So I'm going to circle the wrists around to give them a break, to get more circulation because they were kind of cranked backward for too long. The shoulders, maybe circle the shoulders around. Same thing, they were holding tension. They were trying to do all the work that the hips couldn't do. And then release the head down. Maybe turn the head side to side. Get rid of that tension that you placed there. 2 slow breaths that just fill up the lungs. Feel the breath. We'll come back up again. So again, notice the wrists, stabilize the spine, suck the core muscles in, stretch the other leg back and hold. Level the 2 hips. I put my hand back there and feel because I almost always twist open. I can't help it. Then drag this knee towards the chest and extend it out. Breathe. Nothing we're doing here is passive, even though it looks like we're doing a whole lot of exercise. It looks like we're doing a whole lot of movements, and we are. That's just like I'm giving you things to look at and things to play with. But really what's happening is we're training the mind to be in the muscle. So even though we're stretching and then strengthening and stretching and strengthening, what we're really doing is clearing a path, trying to figure out what is it that's important to me. Strong, supple, intelligent abdominals. Do intelligent abdominals look better than the ones that aren't intelligent? I think so. 2 and 1. Let's come up into kneeling. So I'm going to turn to face you. So I'm on my knees. My toes are tucked under so I don't fall backward. I'm going to do the same thing with the arms. Take the arms out. And then from here, with the palms face up, circle the arms. Squeeze the abdominals in more and more. Levitate the head. Levitate the head. Feel around the arm socket. How is that arm interacting with the shoulder, those big muscles, and the little muscles that aim for us? Now go the other way. Remember the 100 or Kapala body? We're not going to do that breath, but think about the energy and how it's now circulating around the body. Where is it going? It's not going everywhere equally. Now we'll take the hands to the low back, if they go there, or low back or the top rim of the pelvis. Give the hips a push forward. And then feel as if you're lifting the thigh bones and the skin of the front of the thighs up. Keep the chin down, and now widen the chest by squeezing the elbows together. Let's do about 4 or 5 breaths. I find this pose, this camel pose, is really good for building energy. Remember, the skills and the knowledge that you need are already there. You're just not practicing them in this context. You're practicing them when you're doing other things. So just feel the shape of your spine here. Inflate the lungs. Pull the shoulders down and back. You're doing an amazing job at this practice. But more important, you're doing an amazing job at life. And then we'll come back down to hands and knees. Move from hands and knees into downward dog. And then back down to hands and knees. My hamstrings are really saying, yeah, let's take that downward dog a little bit longer. So give yourself this leeway. Brace your abdominals. Now notice from hands and knees to downward dog and back, your spine never cracks. It never goes forward or back. Keep the spine held together with that steel belt. Remember that steel belt that you have? And use the strength of your abs to stretch your hamstrings. So it's not just that you're lengthening your legs and lifting up, it's that your back or your abs are pulling and causing the hamstrings to become more fluid, more adaptable. Hold downward dog once you get there. Try extending one leg up and back. Same thing we did before. Drag the knee in and extend the leg, trying to keep the spine straight. So wow, today's really turned out to be a stability day. How do I hold my body stable when one part of my body is moving in resistance or opposition? So even though my leg is going up and down, my body's trying to stay as silent and as still as possible. I'm not rounding my back. It may feel like I am, but there is the resistance. The abs of steel are holding my spine straight. 3, 2. All right, so make your way into low lunge. Do that by taking that same leg and stepping forward through. If you have the blocks, use the blocks. You can either straddle this front leg or bring both hands to one side. I see people struggle trying to get this little Tyrannosaurus Rex arm over around here. Don't struggle with that. That's really has nothing to do with the stretch at all. That's why either blocks or coming up a little higher is always a good option. So now the splits, right? Take this front foot forward, the back leg backward, and split. Split. There's an old expression. Hey man, let's split. If you know what that means, you're in the right class. Try turning this back leg so that the foot seals onto the floor, and so you turn from the thigh. Then try straightening this front leg. We're about to get a visit here, so you're gonna get a little special moment for all of us. So this is called head to the knee pose here, so that we can see clearly. There he is. There he is. There's a good stretch for that hamstring and the back of the hip. You do you, Phineas. You do you. Bend the front knee, come all the way, or bring the back knee down, sorry. Push this back foot into the floor. Levitate the spine up through the crown of the head. Feel, let's call it circulation. Feel the circulation of energy, right? The blood, it's pulsing, and the arteries and the vein, they're moving around. They're not stagnant. They're not just, they're not hard tubes like plumbing. They move where they need to go. They grow. So feel circulation. Now scoop the lower belly inward. So find that little micromillimeter of contraction that you didn't have just a moment ago. And for 3 breaths, I want you to hold that and not let it go. So no matter what I say, don't let me distract you. Squeeze the abdominals, squeeze that lower belly, hold it inward, upward, almost like you're holding your breath, but you're not. You're just not moving your belly. One more breath, I imagine. And then step back to hands and knees. All right, so here's the test. We'll remember to do that when we switch legs. Let's come from hands and knees to downward dog. And then back down. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep envisioning the circulation. That as you're breathing, your body is adapting and changing. This is probably the most important reason I said, why are we even doing this? Is that your body is going to adapt. And in personal training, we call that training and things like that. It just means that once a body is forced to be put under a stress, it adapts, it changes, and it meets. So hold the downward dog. And so we're becoming more vascular. That means we're actually creating new arteries and veins. And so tissue is getting more of the nutrients that it needs to do its work of reproducing. Extend the other leg. Remember, this is the one you didn't do before. And then drag the knee in towards you and extend it out and back. Okay, so whether you're moving or not, stop moving. Give the attention. What's your gaze? For me, it's my two hips. One of my hips keeps wanting to flip up. So I have to keep my gaze. So I use visualization, creative visualization. The hips look like a bucket to me. And I'm trying to hold that bucket steady. Like if you're pouring something out, and you gotta hold it steady or else you'll spill it all over the place. So direct your energy, just like you're pouring out something with some precision. 2, your low back should not be moving around. Then step through or step forward and into a low lunge. Getting ready for that flying split. We won't get there today. We're just working on it. So in a really small way, my toes are curling and walking this foot forward, in total maybe about a ½ inch. And then sometimes I wiggle the back leg to get it to go back a little further. Remember, don't make a big deal about where these arms are. You might have to come up higher. That's okay. Then turn the back legs. You might have to jump it a little forward. Yeah. And then straighten the front legs into a forward fold. Remember what I said about your neck. Try to let your head and your neck relax anytime that you can. So this is true even in the real world. If you have a chair or something that has a neck, a headrest, and it suits you, it fits you, use it. Use it, use it, use it. Our heads are actually heavy, almost like they're too heavy. And because we don't perfectly balance, we don't spend our time making sure we're perfectly balanced, it's almost always a strain on the neck. So if you have a headrest, use it, use it, use it. Be your own guru. Where is the work? Where's your attention? What's the point? Now come forward again. Release the back knee. Push the foot into the floor. I did something here. Now I don't remember what it was. I'm looking to you. I did something. It's obviously not something that I can see. What did I do? Wait, no. Was it with the arms? No. Oh, it was with the abs. Pull the lower belly in and hold it there. Remember that list we talked about? I need that list. Squeeze the lower belly in. And here's where I'm going to say 3 breaths, but don't let me distract you. Hold the belly in so that when you inhale, it doesn't go out. Not even a little bit. The tightest pants you've ever worn. Hold it there, but do breathe. One more breath. Hold it there, hold it there, hold it there. And then we'll come all the way down to the side. I don't think I forgot something. I probably did. Come down to the side. One side. One weight. You have a weight. Grab the weight. Bring the elbow onto the side of the waist or the hip, wherever it reaches is the right place. But it has to be stable, like it's sitting there. If you don't have a weight, that's okay, because this is a pretty difficult exercise. Bend both knees. Kind of hold your head. I'm going to let the weight go down and then rotate up. Squeeze your abdominals in. We'll add on to this. Let's say you don't have a heavy weight here. In fact, I don't want you to have a heavy weight. I was kind of kidding. Maybe 3-4 pounds, maybe 5. That's the limit here, because we're just working the rotator cuff on the back of the shoulder. And that's not that big a muscle. Stabilize and now smooth out. Here's where we work on precision. In Pilates, it's about making the neuromuscular, the connection. So again, I'm going back to driving a car, right? You have to be pretty precise, especially like on a narrow road, to make sure you don't veer off to one side or the other. Squeeze the abdominals in. I'm feeling this now. 2 more. Then we'll take the weight. If you have the weight, you want to use it, put it on the side of your thigh, kind of as far down as your arm will go. Not, don't reach, but just, kind of a natural, wherever landing place. And then lift this top leg and down. Now here's, again, I want you to go precisely. So imagine that you're like drawing slowly with this leg. Remember, your hand's not holding the weight right now. It's just keeping it from falling. That's all it's doing there. So your arms relaxed, your shoulders relaxed, but your abs are holding in. Precisely. Connect the abs. I guess it's to the outer thigh mostly here. So precisely, connect the abs. Whatever that means, you're creating this connection. Something that's meaningful to you. At least one of these things we did today felt meaningful to you. Leave the leg hovering. Draw the knee in and lengthen the leg out. This is the same move. You notice we did this in hands and knees. We did this on our back. We did this in downward dog. And here we're doing it again. It's the same move. You see, we use the same skills and the knowledge that's already within the body. So when we ever get to that flying split, you'll have all the little pieces and parts. The first part was the breath. So practice breathing. Practice connecting the abdominals, squeeze in. Remember we did it just a moment ago where I said, hold them in and don't let them out. Don't let me distract you. Now you're feeling that outer hip by now. You probably put your weight down at this point. I don't know. 3 more. Precisely. Don't let your leg wobble. That weight almost could hold itself up there. Leave the leg out long. Now from here, just move it to the back a little and then back to neutral. So a little bit behind you and back to neutral. A little behind you. This is the same exercise. This is the same exercise, isn't it? Remember we were extending the leg back and I said don't move your hip? This is the same purpose here. We're learning how to stabilize the hips. So it's called co-contract. Co-contract the front abdominals as the glutes are really creating this dynamic movement. We're aiming that leg. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let that leg fall forward. Relax it. You can massage with your knuckles up and down the side of that leg and up around the head of the leg bone there. Even if you didn't do that exercise, this is a good stretch and a good massage to do, because these muscles are usually stabilizing your hips as we walk, as we stand. You're standing at the sink and doing the dishes, and you're using those muscles over and over and over, and they house a lot of that deep held other kind of stress. All right, make your way up and over to the other side. Grab the weight and come down. Got it. Bend the knees, elbow is stuck onto the side. This is where we rotate the arm bone up and down. Try to stack the shoulders, but relax them at the same time. Squeeze your abdominals. You are doing a great job today, I know. Core strong. These muscles are interacting with each other. They're doing a good job. And when we move our attention inward, when we begin to notice what's going on inside of us, how our thoughts are intermingling, and really your thoughts are controlling your muscles, even when you're not consciously paying attention to that fact, your thoughts are always controlling your muscles. Muscles can do a couple of things reflexively on their own, but other than that, they need a thought pattern from the brain to do anything. Mostly they do nothing by themselves. Think of it that way. I think we're ready to count from 3 here. Squeeze the abs 3. Feel the movement. Feel it growing smoother even when it's not. What did we do here? I think we took the weight to the leg. I have the knees bent. And I think this is where we lift at the leg and down. Lift and down. How are your abdominals controlling the leg? And then what's the purpose? Remember, I know you remember the purpose. The purpose is always support, strength, to stay out of back pain. So if your hips are moving around, theoretically, almost nothing we did today, I'm trying to think, did I ask you to move your hips around? Very, very little. So theoretically, this wouldn't have bothered your back at all. However, theory and practice are different things, right? Squeeze your abdominals and stabilize the hips. Now smooth out this movement. So imagine it's like slow up, slow down, slow up, slow down. Noticing what's coming up. What am I feeling? Well, how does that hip feel? How does the other hip feel? You may not have thought of that. 2 more. All right, leave the leg up. This is where we drag the knee into the chest and straighten the leg out. Now notice that the leg is staying kind of on a platform. It's not wobbling. It's not going up and down on a roller coaster. It's staying the same lateral, the same horizontal. Recognize that your body is now processing stress. And it's not a good kind of stress. And people say it's good kind of stress. No, it's stress. Stress is stress. But what's happening is your body is building the resiliency to handle and process stress. We can't have no stress. That's not the world. So we have to learn how to process it. So your body is getting better to adapting to stresses, not just physical stresses. That's the beauty of exercise, that it's not just physical. You're feeling this now, I can tell. 2 more like this. Okay, here's where we leave the leg out. And then kick it behind and then back to neutral. Behind. Notice you can't see behind you. I know some of us are moms and we said, yeah, you can see. No, you can't see behind you. I hate to lift the veil on that, but we really can't see behind us. But you can feel how muscles are moving, and the more your mind is paying attention, the more of that mind space you devote. So refocus, gently guide your attention to your core. This is where I said co-contract the abs as the glutes are moving the leg. Focus your mind so that leg is moving with precision behind and back and behind and back. 3, 2, and 1. We'll take that weight down. Take that leg forward. And then here's where we kind of raked the knuckles up and down. That IT band, tensor fascia latae, glutes. So IT band down the side. Tensor fascia latae is kind of the whole area, but a little bit more towards the front pocket. And then glutes are definitely more towards the back pocket. You got it. You did a good job. Okay, I'm going to ask you if you have an extra mat or you have a roller. We're going to put it vertically on the mat and then lie on it. If you don't, even if you have just a towel, put something in your mid to upper back. Even if it's just a towel, even if it's just a small pillow. If it is a roller though, it's more important that you come down carefully and you use your feet to balance you. So don't go rolling off. Maybe another little towel or even like these yoga blocks, just so that your head, how you know is that your forehead and your chin are about on the same level. You don't have your head cranked up nor all the way back. So kind of figure that out. And then stretch out, stretch the arms out so that the chest is opening. So you have something in the middle of your kind of upper back that's pushing your heart forward and your arms are stretched out. That's it. Close your eyes. Inhale and exhale. And feel your body making the shape of the thing. And so there's a blanket underneath you. Your body is sort of melting around that shape. So you're changing your shape. Slowly letting all the muscles that were creating your shape. I just asked you to do camel and downward dog, and we did this leg lift and plank poses. But for now, I want you to change your shape by allowing gravity. So imagine that your body is turning to liquid, and it's soaking, soaking, soaking. Your back should be sort of wrapping around, whether that's another mat underneath you or the roller or a blanket. Your back's sort of wrapping around that thing. Remember all the work we did with the ribs? Remember when we inhaled and then we half exhaled and then I asked you to hold? This is stretching those muscles, those respiratory muscles. So sort of exaggerate your breathing for 3. All the way in. Keep breathing in. And then out. Releasing all the pressure around your neck and your shoulders. Breathe all the way in. Keep breathing in. Keep stretching the ribs, opening the lungs. Then release that pressure. And one more time. When you're ready now, come off of that. Prepare for Shavasana. So you can use a much smaller blanket or something under your low back or under your head, or just come all the way down. Prepare by rolling your knees around, pushing your sacrum into the floor. Sacrum, that's the back of the pelvis. Then with one more deep breath, move all the way out into Shavasana. Notice your thoughts. Imagine that your thoughts are like stars in the night sky. That the more you look, the more thoughts there are. But that as you focus on one area of the sky and you're seeing those stars, the other ones dim. So practice looking into the night sky, relaxed and still, calm and quiet. The energy of the stars is always there. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you're not looking. You are vast and you are at ease. You are calm, and now you are still. Inhale. As you exhale, the mind and the body come together, a focused light. Do that again. So that as you exhale, you know. You just know. Begin to make your way onto your side. Open your eyes and then push all the way up. Come up. Straighten your spine, so make sure that there's almost a little lift in your low back. So you may have to push into the floor. Inhale and stretch up. And then exhale as you and I come back together. Good job today, everyone. I appreciate you. Thanks.